fucking doing my head in, the fact that I've got all these fuckers sitting around each other talking about me being a game player.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know this, it's your girl KylerB coming at you with a new video. So today we're going to be talking about Love Island Season 9, Episode 49. And let's get right into the video because this episode is supposed to be an expose. It was supposed to be a Ron expose. And became a Ron expose to a Rosie expose. To now Samie and Tom getting exposed. So let's get right into the video because the last episode from Friday basically ended off with the little what the perception of the public views the couples, and it ended when Ron was a little bit bothered by what Shaq said about Ron and Lana couple, basically like they're game players and they lack PDA, and stuff like that. So Ron was a bit bothered by Shaq's comment. Obviously, Shaq was thinking that it was just a game, he was just saying how the public would view him and Lana and Ron's relationship. Obviously, he didn't think it was too bad. So later on that night, him and Shaq had a conversation, which was basically squashed right then and there. It wasn't too deep, but Ron was deeping it the entire day that everyone's just like, okay, it's a bit weird now. It's like, okay, why are you deeping it? And it comes to the conversation that if you know what you have between you and your couple, you shouldn't really be worrying about these outside, perceptions on your couple. Anyway, moving on in that conversation, Ron said something that was a little bit sketchy. He said, as a viewer, people who have their issues, early on in the season and they get to squash it towards the later half of the season, they get to basically, have a vacation, chill out. They're not really seen as much in episodes, like that. So he was just basically making like a generalized statement, which is kind of true. If you have drama in the beginning of the season, you're basically cruising, chilling towards the later half of the season. So he was just saying as a viewer standpoint, but everybody was just like, kind of sketchy, like, strategic wise, because this is how him and Lana looked. What Ron said was a little sketchy. Everybody in the villa was just like, you basically explained your whole game plan coming into the villa, or basically explained it to everybody. But later on, maybe Ron didn't think it as a big game plan. But to be honest, a lot of people would like to win the game show. A lot of people come for love. A lot of people come to win the game. A lot of people just come for a little vacation. Who knows? We don't know. But at the end of the day, everybody in the game was just like, maybe Ron really is a game player. So everybody in the villa was basically talking about it. Talking. So then Rosie was built a little suspect on Casey. She wanted to know if Casey really likes her or really wants to get to know her.
I feel like I'm like always staring at you. Like he was like, I feel like I always want to be around you and all of this stuff. So he said to me that I do really like you, and he is a slow burner, and I knew that like from the get-go.
So she talked to Casey, and Casey was just like, I always stare at you. I'm just like, I really like you. You really look good, blah blah blah. So then she's still feeling some type of way. So then she asked Ron, and Lana was present in the conversation, and Ron was just basically saying that if he really likes you, time is a little short in here. If you want to see how it is on the outside or how it works on the outside, you got to get to know the person in the villa. Spend as much time as them within the villa. You know what I'm saying? To
prepare yourself for the outside world, you need to get to know you a lot quicker. And the only way you can do that is by spending more one-on-one time with you. And like you say, if instead of staring at you all day, go and pull you for a conversation. Do you know what I mean? I think the slow burner thing's a bit different because in here there's a bit of a, sometimes can be a bit of a cop out. Just keep a little bit of space, see where it goes. For me, I walk out the door and I'm looking for Lana.
So Ron is like, time is going by quickly, with him and Lana. Every time he gets out of, the bedroom or the dressing room, he always wants to find where Lana's at, hang out with Lana. He's with Lana. you know, basically compare it to the other couples as well. Well, because, you know, Shaq and Tommy are always together. Tom and Samie are basically together. You know, Will and Jesse are always together. So it's just like, if you see Casey just hanging around with the boys, Tom and Will, all the time, as Ron always says, the Three Musketeers, you know, he basically made a statement as, you know, since Tom and Will and Casey are all best buddies in the villa at the moment, their partners or couples basically hang out with them. And you can obviously see that when the girls had their little chats and the guys had their little chats, you know how it went. So that's basically how it's going. So it went back to Samie, and you know, Rosie told Samie this information, how, you know, Ron told me, you know, take a step back from Casey, you know, and this and this and that.
And Ron was there, and he like made a comment that he was saying like, you prioritize the boys over me. And he was like, I think you should maybe take like a step back and like...
From you? What? I've literally just heard this now.
And Rosie just, I guess, took back wrong information. She just like switched Ron's words into like, you know, he said like, oh, take a step back from Casey, you know, don't be about him. He's always with the guy. He don't spend that much time as you. Then she went on to even say that Ron said that her and Casey would not work out on the outside. All that she said, basically spinning his words. So even though she asked Ron for advice. So she runs back, tells Samie this, then, you know, says that to Tom. So she's giving that information. So it really went to everybody. But the thing is that Kai and Sanem were in the conversation, or they were very close by listening to the conversation. So they know what was said. And Lana was right there present. So when this get back to Casey, and, you know, Casey's hearing that Ron says, Ron is basically telling everybody how he only hangs out with Tom and Will, and you just hang out with the boys, you know, this, that, and the third. You know, he talks to Ron, he pulls Ron for the one-on-one. Him and Ron are talking. So then, you know, I think Casey brings Lana and Rosie while they were walking past to like basically get to the end of it. So Lana was like, this does not need to be a big thing. Even Ron was just like, you know, the conversation is between Rosie and Casey, not between me and Casey. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, why should I even have to talk to Casey? Like, we're just basically advice. Like, why are you trying to grill me now? So this whole thing went back into the villa. So we have Rosie basically bare lying. She's the bare lying to, you know, bare lying on Ron, telling Casey like, oh, he said that we won't work on the outside and this, that, and a third and everything. So Lana's like, come on, Rosie, like, what are you saying? And, you know, Ron was, you know, laughing, you know, at, you know, the bare nonsense Rosie was saying. So it was just very confusing because everybody's just like, what's going on? So Shaq and Tom were talking and they were having a conversation, you know, they were just basically like looking at what's going on because the information basically got misconstrued, you know, switched up everything, and basically the entire villa knows what's going on. So Kai and Sanem were chilling in the back, and Kai was just basically like, you know, Rosie's just definitely lying. So he comes, sits next to Tom and Shaq, and he's basically like, yeah, she's lying. Like, basically letting them know, like, you know, Rosie's not telling the truth here in the situation, basically switched it up. So then, you know, they still have their little misconceptions. They're just like, you know, it still seems sketchy. But then they're like, you know, Lana wouldn't lie by this situation. So everybody's believing Lana is not going to lie. But then again, Lana is the one still backing her man. She's going to be right behind Ron. So everybody's going to be like, maybe is Lana basically lying to cover Ron? Or is Lana really telling the truth and Rosie's really lying? So nobody knows where to really put this information. So now, after it's nighttime, everybody's kind of still sketchy on the Ron situation. They probably think Rosie's telling the truth, blah, 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 blah. And everybody's basically saying, Lana wouldn't lie, but she is with Ron, and maybe she's backing her man. So everybody's basically taking this information like that. So then at the end, everybody sees, everybody's talking, and then, Ron pulls Kai and like, let me chat to Kai and to them and see what's going on. And then he finds out that everybody's basically talking about the situation.
All you lots, like letting him do that when you've been talking behind his back, fuck off.
Honestly, I am livid. Who started this? Who started this right vibing? Like, I'm not being funny. You only got the two people there, with Samie and Tom.
Samie, basically put that, was basically told Lana, like, hey, everybody knows about the situation. So Lana was like, well, nobody even told me this. So she just feels some type of way as well, because, like, Sammy's the one telling her, even though she's the main one talking about it. So when Ron is like, who started this? And the person who started it was Tom and Samie. So now Tom and Samie are getting exposed for being chatty patties, for being messy people in the villa. Like, they're very messy. They like to throw stones and hide their hands. And when it's time to grill them or talk about it, it's like, no. They're talking about Ron and Lana's backs all the time and never telling them the truth. Samie, of course, she said, oh, everybody knows about the situation, but she's not saying what she really feels. She's going to talk about it with everybody else.
I'm in very two-piece of mind right now, because I'm like, I know you don't want me to get into drama, and I know you don't want me to flip, but I'll fucking flip.
Ron, I'm okay with it right now because I'm fuming.
I want to go in calm, but this is something that I don't think I'll be able to go in calm with.
See another person as well who's doing the same exact thing. Tomorrow's night's episode, they basically show it's gonna be a talent show, even though the episode end off with Ron basically being mad and wants to tell people off about what went wrong or what happened in the villa today. But yeah, basically Ron is very upset. I don't know if he's gonna talk to anybody because he's like, everybody just seems like snakes. Like, you just heard me give a toast, and you're over here talking about behind my back. So Rosie is basically exposed for being a liar or misconstruing words, and Tom and Samie are exposed for being messy. And Ron, he was originally supposed to be exposed for being a game player, but now everybody's feeling like sympathy, like, hey, you guys are all ganging up on one couple. So everybody's feeling sympathy. But I think Ron had good intentions of what he had to say. I don't think he meant any malicious intent. I feel like he should have cooled it off with the little game thing, because I don't think Shaq said anything wrong, because he just said what the perception of what the viewers see from outside. But now this thing in this episode, I can see what he has a reason to be upset about, because now everybody's thinking he really is a strategic player or a game player, and that, he might not be telling the truth about what happened between Casey and Rosie. But other than that, guys, this is episode 49. And if you guys like the video, comment down below any other thoughts, comments, and concerns. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. Peace.